Hello, my minions, and again, here we go on another psychedelic trip down the fucking railway. Alright, so to introduce you to a new thought here, I ended up having on my first time around having a roommate. I had a lot of different falters along the process. So in this one that I'm about to illustrate to you, I end up having one in a log cabin. Weird, right? Well, so anyways, this place was something that, Chinese pioneers probably designed back in the day. It was a reliquary from time distant past. So, getting on to it here, I had a couple of people that I knew, and uh, I could only really afford the place whether if I actually had a roommate. So I ended up coming across this one girl. Let's call her yeah, Gamey. Gamey. So anyway, her father absolutely abhorred me, but she had a plan and moving in with me. So we ended up working that out, and she ended up telling her lovely, lovely father how she was moving in with her best friend, their little cheerleader, confidant, and that's how things went. So after a while, Gamey ends up being a little too riley for me, a little too horny for the boys, and was a little bit of distraction. And I'm not talking about to my interests, not at all. So after time progressed here, she had her original friend, whom her father thought she was living with. She ends up saying, "Oh well, she's going to end up moving in with us." Gamey has a damnedest time actually holding down a job, and so has become a stripper at this very underage, dirty club. And it was something I had teased her about quite often, and the fact that her coworkers were underage. And so as time progressed here, she, like I said, ended up saying that she was moving her friend into the place. And I said, wait, fucking excuse me? When did you consult me on this shite? Apparently she didn't. And she said, well, that's just gonna be how it is. I said, well, that just happens to be not your name on the goddamn lease. So either she gets the fuck out, or you're both getting the fuck out. 3 days notice, bitch. So anyway, um, she ends up saying, yeah, okay, and we live that out for a little bit. And then it comes down to, at the time, I'm also working. I come home at the final day where they're supposed to be gone, and come home to end up finding that went in the bathroom. And apparently, what they had done is shoved several rolls of toilet paper down the toilet, and then took turns taking a shit in it. So they double deckered the stuff at me, and of course they were laughing, having good times for all. Wasn't that lovely of them? So I'm not going to get into the graphics of it or anything. It was absolutely disgusting. But also, too, she ended up having some of the utilities in her name. So my utilities start getting shut off. I'm having a little bit of a panic attack. And then all of a sudden, I remember, after she's gone, that I remember her family's home phone number. What can I do about that? The utility companies aren't doing jack. I wonder if dear old Daddy Dearest might be able to help. And being naturally good, caring little goth, so as I was and whatnot, his daughter doing such naughty things, trying to watch after her. Oh my dear. Someone had to warn him about that, didn't they? Well, it had to be me, wouldn't it? So one night I ended up calling over to their house and speaking with Blamey's father and saying how his little girl is stripping in an all nude place. He said, "No, no, you're lying." And I said, "Oh, no, sir, you remember me. I was over at your house one time. You remember me, correct?" And he said, "No, she was moving in with that other girl." And I said, "No, I do apologize, sir. I had to take part in that deceptive concept to you, but I'm afraid for your daughter. She's going on the wrong path. And she's actually taken advantage of me in the same process and left me with the bills that are locked in. But I can tell you, quite innocently, where she's working." "No, I don't believe you." "Sir, all you have to do is show up on Tuesdays and Wednesdays between 6 and 8. You'll see your daughter on stage." So I hang up the phone and I cackle into the midnight. So anyway, we fast forward 2 years into the future, and whenever I end up meeting her at a later date, I'm sitting in front of a Borders, in front of the coffee shop, and I see her in the distance. I give her a look saying, "You're not really coming up to me, are you?" She keeps on walking. She sits down, plops down beside me. She smiles at me. I smile back, and I say, "So, how's the family?" She says, "You know damn well." And I said, "Do I now?" And she said, "What you did to me was fucked up." And I said, "Well, to each their own, dear heart." So anyway, I end up saying, "I got you." And she raised her eyebrows and says, "Yes, you did." So basically what ended up happening was a night she was stripping, apparently by the notion that I ended up mentioning to her father, he wandered through there into that night on the full nude strip club and dragged her off stage. And I got myself such a cackle, I couldn't take it personally anymore. I was filled with glee and little dimples in my cheek, feeling quite pleased with myself. So that is the lesson. And that's all for tonight. And I see two people are watching, so why don't you sleep good, getting tight.